I have so much content that's just like sitting in my phone. I have full video that I just haven't decided to edit because I am multi hyphenate, but I also am a little bit private. So I think it's just like assessing how you want to show up online. Who do you want people to know you as? Okay. We're back. This is going to be a really powerful conversation. And yeah, that's what it has to be.
Welcome to the Blockers Podcast. Today I'm interviewing Shania Shanell. She is and go ahead and tell me what you do.
I am a multi hyphenate creative. I currently operate as a social media marketing and partnerships consultant. So I work with different brands to bring their story to life through social media, digital marketing. And I also have my own organization called the Junie League, which is a community for young creatives of color navigating the newfound responsibilities of adulthood, and trying to understand what it means to be an adult and redefining what that looks like for you, because when we were younger we had these perceptions of what adulthood was, and then you finally get there and you're like, hold on, like what was I thinking? Like you had these timelines and all of these things for yourself, so kind of like navigating that responsibility through community.
So I'm gonna ask, were you always this cool? Or was that something
Like
that
to say yes.
were you always walking in what you wanted to do? Or was there a period of like, Talk about that.
I think I have always been walking in what I'm called to do. I just didn't recognize it. So now I'm in a period where I'm reflecting on all of my past experiences and recognizing like what God was doing in that moment. And like everything I've literally ever done has prepared me for where I am right now. So like when I was in elementary school, I used to love sculpting. And I have like, my mom has this panda that I sculpted in class. So she still has that. And then it moved into me doing art, and I wanted to be a drawer, a artist. And I would draw, and that would be my hobby. And then it moved into me trying to do fashion design, but not necessarily putting pieces together, but like the act of illustrating designs and coming up with ideas. And then it moved into like me saying, actually, I don't want to do fashion design. I want to do graphic design. So I've like always been doing some sort of creative thing that had to do with illustration. And I finally landed where I am now, which is so funny because I used to say I never want to do social media. And now that's what I'm doing. So I guess I've always been operating in this purpose.
So you had supportive parents, or like and did you go to college, or were you just immediately off the jump like, oh, we're finna do this?
Yeah, my parents were very, very, very supportive. Anything I ever said I wanted to do, they figured out how to help me do it. I remember there was one time where I said I wanted to learn how to play the guitar. My Christmas gift was a guitar. I literally never touched the guitar after Christmas. Then I said I wanted to learn how to play the piano. My dad literally brought me a keyboard. Never touched the keyboard. And then I said I want to be a fashion designer. They bought me a Project Runway what is it? A Project Runway sewing machine. Never learned how to use it. So I am very appreciative that although I said things and didn't mean them and like didn't start them, that didn't stop them from like supporting me and what I wanted to do. And I did go to college. I went to Spelman, and that was a very interesting journey because what I went to college for, no one expects. I went to college for psychology. So when I say like I'm in marketing, they're like, "Oh, did you go to school for marketing?" I'm like, "No, I went to school for psychology," which I feel like is still aligned because you have to understand brain and behavior in order to learn how to market to people and learn how to speak to people. But that wasn't necessarily my intention with going into college. I was just like, I need something that I can go into whatever, because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just knew like I was a creative person. I never necessarily had like a dream job in my head. It was just like I have a lot of talents. Whatever I can get into, I'll get into.
I completely relate to the part where you're like, yeah, I don't really know. Like I'm good at kind of
Yeah.
everything that I put my hand to. I definitely can relate to that. You're talking about, fashion design. I would like be obsessed with scarves, like Roman togas and things like that.
Yes.
I'd be like,
That's literally like I have an insane scarf. I have two lucky scarves. Like if you see me, you're going to see me in one of those scarves. And that is like my most complimented accessory. I love scarves, so I get you.
it just adds a layer. Like, and it doesn't take up too much space. Anyway, I'm recently getting back into it, but yeah, just talking about like that and then, drawing and things like that. Music was it for me a little bit, but I sucked. But I'm getting back into it a little bit. But yeah, I think people are too afraid of exploration. They
Mm.
get holed into something at a very young age. And like, don't do this, parents. Please just let them just like figure out kind of where their head is at. My little brother right now, he loves to draw too. So I don't know what he'll get into, but when was the moment after you graduated where you were like, or was it during college where you're like, I need to do my own thing. I need to figure it out. And when did you realize that that was social media? You said you never want to do it. What was the thing that shifted?
Full transparency here. I straight out of college, had no job, didn't know what I was going to do, but I had a mentor. Her name is Tola, and she founded this organization called Girl Wonder for young girls of color interested in media entertainment. And it was actually her that saw it in me. Like, I didn't know what I wanted to do, didn't know how I was going to get to where I wanted to. I just knew I was a creative person, didn't necessarily think like my creativity is currency, which I know now. Like my creative ideas, their currency. But I worked on a project with her for a brand, like what is the name? King C Gillette. It is basically like, the shaving grooming brand. And I worked on a project with her based in Atlanta that was basically highlighting HBCU students and graduation day. And so I helped coordinate that, helped source the talent, all of that good stuff. And it was that project that she was like, you're actually really good at this. Like, I think you're a marketer. And I was like, you think so? And she was like, yeah, like, I think that comes naturally to you. Like, the way you helped, and I wasn't even there. So, like, you have it in you. Like, and I was like, I love that. So she was looking for an assistant for a minute, or we would just be talking and catching up, and she would be like, "Oh, I need an assistant," and I was like, "Let me be your assistant," and she was like, "No, like." No, because we had such a good personal relationship, and she is very like she knows what she wants and she knows how she wants it done, and so she didn't want it to like affect our relationship. But I was like, I just kept, please let me be your assistant, please let me be your assistant, and she was finally like, you have a 30-day trial, and I was like, okay. And I was horrible at it when I first, like, I full stop, I was horrible at it. I can't even control my own life to think that I would need to help control someone else's life, and like, here's what you have to do, here's your calendar. Like, that was a lot for me. But I finally, with a lot of help, ended up getting there. And after that, I kind of like took off. I ended up getting promoted to coordinator of brand partnerships like 3 months in, and got to host my own International Day of the Girl Child event, which is a day that recognizes girls globally and like girl power, all those great things. And that first project is when I was like, hmm, okay. Because I got to work with a brand that I love, which is Eylure London. They're like an eyelash brand. And then I also got to work with Denise Francis. She is like a self-love coach, and she's a YouTuber. And I used to watch her on YouTube for like 5 years prior to this. Had no idea that we would ever cross paths, let alone do an event together. And like, we got to do an event together along with Genesis D. Hale from The Shy and Infinity Gilliard, who's also a big YouTuber now. And I was like, wow, okay, I know what I'm doing. And then, so it was kind of that moment. And then what led me to social media I was living in Atlanta, and it was quite pretty obvious it was time for me to go. Like, God was just stripping away everything from me, and it was getting very uncomfortable. And I was like, am I supposed to be here? Like, what is happening? And the nonprofit space was, going in a different direction because, to be quite frank, people weren't buying into supporting Black girls anymore. That was a huge phase that people were into when George Floyd happened. But then now it's like companies are getting rid of DEI, and they're getting rid of the things that fund that. So it's making it a little bit hard. And I had to find like odd jobs and different things to, really support myself in the way that I wanted to be supported and like be comfortable. And so I was like, okay. I ended up moving in with my friend, and it was like, it had to be God. I was trying to decide what my next step was. And we get literally no lighting in our apartment, in our house. We get no lighting. And there was one day where some sort of light just flashed into the house on the wall in the shape of a New York Yankee sign. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. First of all, this is not possible. Second of all, this has to be God. Third of all, I don't want to move home. Like, I don't want to move back to New York. I love New York. It is a beautiful place. But when you grew up somewhere, you want to explore, you want to move out, you want to like find your footing. And for me, Atlanta was that place. And I had my own apartment. I had all of these things that like accumulated, and I was like, it made me feel like I had made it. So like to have to go back home, let alone to have to move back with my family, I was like, are you serious? And you want me to go to New York? What is there for me? What are you talking about? And so I went through a long period of being upset at God because I literally had to move all my things back to New York. I had to move in with my family. And when I first got here, nothing was happening. It was silent. It was crickets. It was just me in my bedroom all day, every day, with nothing to do.
Literally me right now at this time. Anyways,
There's hope. Um, and then I started getting contacted by people, and this one um beautiful lady that saw something in me from what I was doing. Well, okay, let me pause. I was not doing nothing. I had put my energy into Junie League, and I was like posting on there, posting content, and some of the content was doing really well. And people were seeing that. And so there was this one lady who reached out to me, and she was like, I love your social. Like, I love it. It's so good. Can you do that for me? And I was like, I don't do social, and I don't like to do social. And she's like, no, like you really have something in you. Like, I fully think that this is a path that you have to go down. And I was like, okay, I'll try it. So I started doing her social, and she was just like enamored with how her page was looking. And then I got another offer, and then I got another offer, and then I got another offer. And like people just kept coming to me. And it was fully like I was not marketing myself as a social media manager. I was not saying, like, hey, this is what I do. It was just literally people seeing something in me that like I didn't necessarily see in myself, and they were reaching out to me to like do it for them. And I was like, sure. And then I finally got a gig as a social media intern at this tea shop that I absolutely love called Brooklyn Tea. Fast talk about what God was doing before. I actually used to work there in Atlanta because they have an Atlanta location, and I worked there as a tearista. So fast forward now, I'm back in New York, and this is like where I'm doing social media at, and it's just been so well received, and I kind of like have just like, okay, God, I see what you want me to do. Fine, fine.
I love what you're saying. You weren't doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You were posting content. People listening to this right now, whatever, wherever you're at in your life, personal branding, even if you don't imagine it, even if you don't imagine it as a personal brand, you are a personal brand. you walking, living, breathing, living life. You already have a personal brand. It's just a matter of amplifying it online. And she was doing that effectively, it seems, because people were coming to her without too much, intention. Obviously, God played a part.
Absolutely.
And if you try to force something that God does not have for you, then it will not happen.
Hmm.
Or you'll get it. Ooh, and that's sometimes the worst because now you're in a season that you did not need to be in. But um yeah, so yeah, what was your lesson for continuing to go and why were you oh wait, sorry, Junior League. Yeah, what was your motivation for continuing in that even though it wasn't doing anything at the time a little bit?
Yeah, I think that naturally, like, I am a person who, I'll say this. One, I knew that it was the idea that God gave me. It was not something that just came to my mind. It was not something that like I just decided to pursue randomly. It was very much ordained by God. I even in getting the name, I had gotten the idea to do it because I was recognizing where I personally was and like the hardships I was experiencing that and noticing that no one was talking about it. So like we're all going through the same things, but no one is talking about how hard it is to navigate through this season. No one's talking about finding jobs. No one's talking about apartment hunting and what that even looks like, what kind of questions you need to ask. Taxes were a big thing that I was stressed about. And I had no one to talk to about it because everybody was like closed off about it, like, oh, this is my personal business. And so I was like literally like, ooh, it would be cool if I had a community for it. And I came up with a name for it, and it was entry level. And I went to go do my research to see if anyone had that name, let alone the Instagram name. And someone literally had it the exact way I would spell it because I wasn't going to spell it level like regular. It was going to be LVL, and someone literally had it and it was a podcast and it was literally about being in your 20s. I was like, come on, like what's happening? So I had put a pin in the idea because I was like, well, I don't really have a name and someone already has this. And I was in the shower. I will never forget today, September 6th, 2023. And I was in the shower and God literally spoke to me and he was like, Junie League. And I said, I like that. I was like, hold on now. Okay, I like this. I'm so one, like knowing that it's an idea that came from God. I have experienced this multiple times with having my organization. If I sit on it for too long, God's going to give the idea to someone else and they're going to execute it. And not only are they going to execute, they're going to execute it in a way that I didn't want it to be executed. I had a better idea for it, but hey, someone already did it. And so it's like if you won't move, he's going to employ someone else to move on it. And I want to listen. Like I want to be obedient. I want to listen to what God has for me because ultimately, He's the only one that knows the full plan. He knows what it's going to look like in the end. So why not listen to Him? So one can't sit on an idea that God gave me, and then two, I had nothing else to do. So why not? Like why not? You're not doing anything else. We might as well just try to go full throttle. It can't. I remember sitting in it and thinking it can't get worse than this. Like I've literally been stripped of everything. Like I have nothing. It's just me and God. Like I cannot go any lower than this. I might as well try and see what happens.
You know the song Breakup Song by Francesca Battistelli.
Yes.
So I just sung that this morning because just reminding myself, I trust you, God.
Yeah.
Not reminding myself, reminding God that I trust him and reminding myself at the same time. Um, because we're not in control, but we can control our reactions and we can control our stewardship.
Absolutely. If God can't trust you with the little, like you can't expect much more than this. Like this is where it stops.
So I'm gonna ask, awesome, you have all these things, you have an awesome story. What's next? And what's that blocker that's keeping you from your next level?
Yes. Okay. So for almost ever, my blocker has always been like self-trust and self-discipline and understanding that like I'm chosen. Like I know that God has called me for more. I know that I'm chosen by God, but like to actually lock in on that and like that become a part of my identity and like me moving and knowing that wherever I'm going, God has called me there. And that nothing is going to prevent it from getting as good as it can get, unless, except for me. So I think like my major blocker is just like self-trust and self-discipline. And that kind of looks like starting and not finishing. Like I start a bunch of things and I just don't finish them. And I think that it's at the core a self-trust problem, which is also probably a lack of trust in God. Which is like, hold on now. That's a big one. So I think that's definitely what I need to work on in this season, in order for me to get to the next step, not just in my life, but in my relationship with God.
Yeah, like what has it really been affecting? Like what have you really noticed? And go ahead and say that answer, and I'm going to fix this light real quick, or this window.
What it's been affecting, I feel like it's been affecting my mindset when it comes to creating. I think that in the past couple of weeks, as I've been creating, I've been recognizing that I'm getting a lot of fear. I'm getting a lot of self doubt. And I'm like, I'm kind of trying to be a perfectionist about things that I don't need to be like a perfectionist about. And I think that it's ultimately stunting my ability to create and to produce. Also, it's like my ability to like put it out there. I have so much content that's just like sitting in my phone. I have full videos. I have full things like that I just haven't decided to edit, or I've edited it but I haven't decided to post, like. And I think I I get in this way of like wanting to be not on social but also wanting to be on social, which is like a hard thing to balance, because I think I did a social media cleanse last year when I was really locking in on like just trying to hear God's voice. I just cut out social media, period. And I really liked the way that felt because it was like I'm not just taking pictures with the intention of like, oh, someone has to see this. I'm taking pictures because it's like actually something I'm enamored with. I'm taking video because it's actually something I enjoy, instead of like someone has to see this and like basically seeking validation from others is what I think that was. But I kind of got into the mojo of like, ooh, I like not posting. But then on the other end, that is what actually does bring me joy. Like that is me exercising my creativity to the max, experimenting with different video styles, experimenting with editing styles. Like that is what brings me joy. So I have noticed that it definitely has stunted my creative growth, my ability to exercise my muscle in creativity, and just overall like my trust in like whatever I put out, it's going to be good. Like it's going to be good. It's fine. If it doesn't work for everybody, that's fine, but it's going to touch someone.
Do you feel like you're almost growing too fast, like internally and stuff for your own page? Because
Yeah.
sometimes that's what I feel like. I'm
Yeah.
trying to discover something that I discovered a new thing about myself last second. I just made a post, or I constructed the images and the videos for a post that I'm like, I don't necessarily agree anymore. But then it's still on
Yes.
your, yeah, then it's still on your page and whatever. But you're not interested enough in that moment to edit it. And why would I? Because I have better ideas coming. The better idea comes, the cycle continues.
That's exactly how I feel. I feel like there are so many things that I get interested in, or so many things that I like want to do and want to try. So I get disinterested in something I've done already, or like, actually, I don't think I should post that. Actually, like I do that all the time. I'll go on my story and I'm going to post a story and I'll sit on it for a little bit and I'll rewatch it. And I'm like, actually, press X. Like, no, we're not going to post that.
I agree. A thought that just came into my head was like, you're moving, but the people that are following you, they might still be in that old spot. they might be in a spot that's even younger mentally than that spot. So it's like, what pieces is the Lord calling you to share, regardless of how you feel, because it's your ministry?
Yeah.
Um, but it's also, oftentimes as Christians, we over entangle ministry and creativity, even though I believe they can just be intertangled naturally. But sometimes we try and make it work more intensely than it needs to be. Holy Spirit, come.
No, literally.
Um, so self-trust, building that. What is a good exercise, do you think? Would it be going through your foils? Would it be kind of creating a new narrative out of old images, or doing this thing where it's like you have somebody else post for you and you kind of are detached from your page?
I think I like what you said about finding a new narrative. Um, because I do think that's the reality of where I am right now. I think that posting isn't necessarily like a big struggle for me right now. When we first talked, it was. But now like in my role as a social media intern at the company I'm at, I have to post. I don't have a choice. And I'm in most of the content. So like I've gotten comfortable with like posting and seeing the reception from people. Like they're coming into the shop and they're like, "Oh my God, I love you." Like, "Oh, you're the social media girl." Like, "Hey." And I think that that has really calmed my spirit about like just putting it out there. But I do notice like I'm still trying to make every single thing perfect. And I'm still trying to like, this doesn't really align with how I feel right now. So I'm not gonna post it. So I think like going through my old things and really defining what that narrative that I'm trying to tell is and like figuring out how do we tell it? What's the schedule? When is it getting posted? Okay. And just posting it.
Yeah, everybody's like, oh, I need to post in real time. I'm like, or you could. Like, look at the old things. A lot of times, people do mood boarding. This is something that I'm actually about to make a video about. So, um, heads up, quick view. What am I even saying right now? It's like the thing, sneak peek. There we go. Not enough people look at their own lives when they're trying to like design their brand. Like me, I'm in a season where I'm trying to redesign the visual identity of my personal brand, and really bring more of like what I think is actually fun to look at. Because like obviously we see the phone to the face moment, but I want it to be a little more dynamic. I just want to do more with the editing, figure it out. But people don't look at their old stuff enough, because it's like that's the reflection of you. That's the reflect, like, oh, I was drawn to this. Why was I drawn to this? Grab that image and give it a new
Yeah.
life. But it's good to combine like where you're trying to go with the mood board with other people's lives that they've already done something that you want to do. But yeah, really taking a audit of your past, because that's just like the most honest whatever. But
Yeah.
posting as if you're not going to post today, you're not even going to post this year maybe. But just like this is something that I like, so that you can have an honest look at yourself in the future. Almost you're taking the picture for your future self, but you might post it soon enough.
I definitely think that that's something that I can hone in on because I just have so much. I have stuff from 2023, so much that I like felt I still feel connected to it, right? Because it's still like my creativity. A lot of people think that it's like a lot of people just take pictures to take pictures and take video to take video. I'm very intentional when I do it. Like this is something that really drew me. Like I'm not just photographing because it's cute. Like I felt connected to it. So I noticed like I can't delete it. Like I have very bad storage on my phone because I can't delete it. So I ended up buying a flash drive and like transferring things over because I feel so connected to it. But I literally have so much from 2023. We're all the way in 2025. So I definitely will lock in on that.
Do you use Notion for your clients?
I do use Notion.
Do you use Notion for yourself?
I don't.
Yeah. That's what I've been getting into myself, because it's like, well, for a second I was annoyed with Notion because I was like, why is it saying all my free blocks are taken up when there's unlimited blocks? But it was just because I was having collaborators on my
Uh,
side. I actually just made a different account
mhm.
and then just use that one for my personal. And when I tell you, content calendar, it's on lock. Okay. And it's like I can visually see it as somebody who's interested in like a million things.
Mhm.
It's good to see like, oh, I'm going to post a reel this day, but I might not know what I want to post it about because I don't really like to have that rigidity because I'm often like not interested in the thing. And if I've learned about myself, if I'm not interested, I'm not going to post it.
Yeah.
So just knowing that that's like the day that you're going to do the thing, you can see it. And I
Yeah.
have like a planning day at the beginning of the week, which is like so obvious to us because we do this all the time for our clients.
And
But
we
when it
can't do it
comes to
for ourselves.
exactly. And it's just been, I mean, I'm like, why have I not done this sooner?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I'm doing right now. And yeah, just kind of categorizing like what pieces my life story do I want to pull in for this one? Da, 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 da. Very strategic, very brand coded, very brand deck, very nice.
Seeing yourself, that's what I realized. Like, you have to see yourself as the brand. You have to understand that, like, it's in you. When I was unemployed and trying to figure out what I was going to do in my life, how I was going to make money, like, it just literally came to me. The Holy Spirit was like, you are the job. Like, you keep asking for it. Nothing's happening because it's you. Like, I literally went through a season where I was getting rejected, rejected, rejected. I was making it to the fourth round of every single interview, and they would come back and tell me I was overqualified. And I'm like, what do you mean overqualified? I've just been working for 2 years. What are you talking about? But that was literally God telling me, hello, I have something better lined up for you. You are the job. And I think that, like, when you see yourself as the brand and you start to operate with yourself as the brand, that, like, is a game changer, but it is easier said than done.
I heard somebody saying the other day, like, speaking of, looking back on things, what are the ideas that you've had that you haven't seen other people have? Because that is literally and legally recognized as intellectual assets. And we don't actually like take that seriously as the average person or the artsy person. But
Mhm.
realistically, like you probably have a gold mine hidden behind these
Mhm.
skull here. Um, and just like taking a moment and like documenting kind of like some of your thought processes on different things. I find it's hard for me to remember what I think about something without a prompt. So
Mm,
I'm often like, okay, what do I think about this? What do I think about this? If I even just use ChatGPT, give me a topic that I can debate you on or like something like that. Just to kind of figure out like where's my mind even at? And once you figure out, what's your target audience? Who do you want to bring into that? Like, who am I speaking to? What are my opinions on this corner? Because people's personal brands, your personal brand doesn't have to be everything going on in your life. Da, 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 da. You can just talk about one specific topic and then weave in a little bit of your personal storytelling. It
mhm.
doesn't have to be all encompassing. As a multi hyphenate creative that you're saying, it can be difficult to not bring everything in, but I
Yeah.
think that's okay. It just depends on what you want to do. But if you're listening to this and you're scared and you're like, I don't know what a brand is, I don't know, like, don't worry.
No, seriously, don't worry. Like, take your time too. Like, especially when it's because I am multi hyphenate, but I also am a little bit private. Like, there are a lot of things I don't like people to know about me. So I think it's just like assessing how you want to show up online. Like, who do you want people to know you as? And how can you do that in a way that, isn't making you feel like you're compromising on your morals or compromising on what you care about, but still letting people in. Like, there is value in vulnerability, and I think like we try to run away from being vulnerable, but that's where the sweet spot is. That's where all the good stuff comes open, and like, here's who I am. Can't get too much though, but here's who I am.
Where can people find you? What are you doing? I know we kind of already talked about it.
People can find me on Instagram on all platforms at Shania, Shania dot Shanell, Shanell. I love connecting with people on LinkedIn. So if you're on LinkedIn, it's Shania K. And the Junie League, which is also on LinkedIn and Instagram at Junie, Junie dot league, LEAGUE. I'm over at Brooklyn Tea. So if you ever want to learn more about tea and more about the benefits, you can find us on social literally at Brooklyn Tea. If you're in New York, please stop by. I would love to see you. And yeah, we'll see. Like, I'm going to really take in all of this knowledge and all this entire conversation, and we're gonna get to posting. We're gonna get to posting. We're gonna get to posting. It's time. It's literally time.
Well, y'all, this has been an awesome conversation with an awesome woman right here. I just love when God brings two minds to help each other in their journey. You've inspired me. You've inspired the people listening. I don't even know what number episode this is. I've stopped saying the numbers because I'll probably get it wrong. Because editing me is just like, that's not right. If you guys are interested in building a personal brand, you're in New York, you're in Dallas, you're in Nashville, hit either of us up. Boom, we're ready to help you out, do your thing. Yeah, this has been an awesome conversation. Have a good rest of your day.
Yes, thank you so much. You too.
Oh, and all the links to what she said and where she's going to be is going to be in the description. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.